good friend. He's like a father to me, Senator Boni Halwale from Kakamega, the bullfighter himself. And I didn't know this habit, the character of him having more than one wife is in the family, so to speak. Now, I'm afraid I will not be sitting next to him. I might end up suffering from that habitual deficiency. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise in support of this bill, being Bill number 12 of 2024 from the National Assembly. And let me begin by first appreciating and commending the National Assembly, most particularly the mover and the sponsor of this bill at the National Assembly level, Madam Speaker. To that much Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, to my brother, may history judge you fairly. This is a very important bill, and I am very proud, Madam Speaker, that I was alive and I was in the Senate when such a bill came to the floor of the House that basically seeks our support as legislators, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you look at a community known as the MAASAI community, Madam Speaker, they are well known for their rich and very deep-rooted cultural practices, cultural beliefs, and traditions, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, every foreigner who seeks to come to this country, Madam Speaker, you'd realize the first port of call will be visiting the MAASAI region. And I wish Senator Ledama Olekina was here from Narok, and my good friend Senator Ole Seki from Kajiado. I understand that senator is perhaps busy propagating some other form of politics out there. That's why he has no time to be here. But I know when he gets a chance, when the two of them get a chance, they will speak deeply about their culture and their community, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, any foreigner who gets to the country would want to visit the MAASAI, not necessarily to see the Big Five under the Masai Mara Conservancy, but also to appreciate and interact with the Maa culture, Madam Speaker. So to speak, this culture has basically put the country on a global perspective, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, perhaps the mover of this bill here, Senator Cheriot, might say the Kalenjins as well have put this country on a global perspective because of their prowess in athletics. But this is culture. So he might not want to go along that with Madam Speaker. But Madam Speaker, what I'm saying is that this bill essentially seeks to speak to Article 11 of the Constitution, and more specifically, sub-Article 3A, that speaks on the compensation and royalties owing and due to communities who practice various forms of culture, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, sometimes when I come from a very hectic schedule in Kwale, I take time to interact with my voters at night in DIANI, in places such as Tanduri, Kokobongo, Manyata, and Terminal 2, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, at night, when you're in those places that I've just mentioned, Madam Speaker, you will see young men and women dressed in particular attires, more specifically in the Maasai attire at night, purposely because DIANI is a beach destination, Madam Speaker, just to attract the attention of the foreigners who are there. And when you further continue engaging with these young men and women who are dressed at night as Maasais, you would be shocked to find they are not even Maasais, Madam Speaker. Most of them are usually people from Murima, Madam Speaker. That speaks to the need to ensure that certain cultural beliefs have been placed in a way that they can receive commercial earnings, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you visit the great county of Kwale, where I come from, Madam Speaker, there's a small tribe in a place called Kilibasi. They call the Wata community, Madam Speaker. This is a community that is practicing very rich cultural traditions. They have very deep cultural dances. They have a lot of artifacts that speak to their culture, Madam Speaker. A lot of foreigners nowadays find their way to Kilibasi just to go and get to know this particular community and understand and appreciate the cultural practice that they do practice in Kinango, Madam Speaker. If you listen carefully to the Digo community, in Kwale County that have for many years danced to Zigidigi, Mdundiko, and Sengenya dance, Madam Speaker, as well as the Duruma community with their Gozi dance from Vigurungani, Puma Ward in Kenyatta constituency, Madam Speaker. You realize there is now need to have and making sure that all these communities are able to benefit from these packages, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I am happy now for the first time we are working towards making sure there is a proper legal framework within which communities that practice their culture, that believe in their culture, that are out there showcasing their culture, Madam Speaker, are able to benefit in terms of receiving compensation and royalties from what they do on a daily-to-daily basis as part of promoting their culture. And I'm happy that we are not just speaking about policy and ministry directives, but a legal framework within which these communities are able to benefit from the practice of their culture, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with those very many and few remarks, Madam Speaker, I wish to strongly support this bill, and I wish to urge my colleagues to equally weigh in and support this particular bill, and hopefully it becomes law so that our community are able to access this compensation and this material benefit so that people can for the first time enjoy their true identity and their true cultural heritage in this country. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Dan Manzo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm very pleased to contribute on this very, very important bill. In fact, I've waited for it for a long time. And the culture is actually in the Constitution, and Article 11. And I think there's a misprint. They have talked of 11.3a, but it should be 11.2a. And this is to promote all forms of national and cultural expression through literature, the arts, tradition, celebrations, science,